All right, if you're just now tuning in, there is a active tornado warning for um, southeastern Marion County and south central Illinois. At 4:47, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 5 miles northwest of Helm, or 13 miles southeast of Salem, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Hazards are tornado and quarter-sized hail. This is radar indicated rotation. Impacts, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This tornado will be near Helm at 4:15 p.m. This is the only active tornado warning right now, I believe. Um, yes. Okay. So it looks like the storm is almost out of the warned region. So I do believe they will cancel this tornado warning fairly soon. Yeah, if we go over to velocity, there's not a whole lot going on over here as far as rotation goes. There's nothing um, that makes me think there's a tornado imminent across this region here. Um, yeah, there's not too much here. If you're out ahead of this line, if you're in, let's see here. Okay, so if you are in Clay County, you are in a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and ping pong ball sized hail. This is a radar indicated threat as well. This will be near the Flora Municipal Airport. 1.5 inch size hail is possible with the storm here. And then the storm just to the south of it is also warned for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Hail damage to vehicles is expected, and you can expect wind damage to roof, sidings, and trees. This storm here will be near Bible Grove around 4:40 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and this includes Interstate 57 near mile marker 147. Okay, so it does look like they just dropped that tornado warning here, so I'm not going to be alive too much longer. We go back over to reflectivity here. Okay, so this does appear to be becoming more of a linear um, damaging wind risk here as opposed to a tornadic risk. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be all straight line winds. There is a, let's see here. There is a flash flood discussion down here. And this is for southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and northwest Kentucky. Um, Basically, this hazard is for heavy rainfall possible. Basically, discussing that there has been quite a bit of rain over the last couple of hours here. Almost 2 inches of rain has fallen across this region here. And they are saying that rainfall rates could be as high as 2 inches to possibly 2.5 inches over the next few hours here across Evansville, Louisville, and southern Illinois. So, okay. So now that they dropped that tornado warning, I want to go ahead and talk about what we have going on today. And it does appear that not only today, but tomorrow and Monday, we are looking at what could be a multi-day major severe weather outbreak across the United States here. You can see that the Storm Prediction Center did go ahead and issue a tornado watch here across Iowa and Missouri. There are enhanced or elevated tornado probabilities with this tornado risk here. And this is valid from 4:40 p.m. through 11 p.m. CDT. Um, a few tornadoes are likely with a couple of intense tornadoes possible. Scattered large hail and isolated very large hail events up to 2.5 inches in diameter are likely. Scattered damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour are also likely today with this particular tornado watch here. Now, if we go back to the day one SPC outlook, you can see that there is a very large risk here for severe weather. There is a slight risk of severe weather here across Kentucky, southern Indiana, and southeastern Illinois. And another slight risk out here, basically stretching from west central Illinois through Colorado. And in the middle here, we have this enhanced risk here with a rather large 5% tornado probability here that is hatched. So the Storm Prediction Center is saying there could be a few strong tornadoes today possible across this region here, mainly from southern Nebraska, northern Kansas into southwestern Iowa and northwestern Missouri. But there is a small 2% tornado risk over here across Kentucky, Indiana, and southeastern Illinois as well. Looks like the main risk here today is going to be damaging winds and large hail. I do think the main focus of severe weather today is going to be across far northwestern Kansas and southwestern Nebraska today. So today's not the only day of severe weather we're looking at. Once again, as we move into tomorrow, there is another enhanced risk again tomorrow. Okay, so this is new. This is the first time I'm seeing this. Okay, so they did upgrade tomorrow to a 15% hatched region. So yeah, tomorrow we could be in for a tornado outbreak here across South Dakota, far northeastern Nebraska, into northwestern Iowa. So yeah, we could be talking about a tornado outbreak tomorrow across this region here. Yeah. I was not aware that they upgraded this risk. Okay, let's see here. And the Storm Prediction Center is noting that a volatile environment of severe weather is expected tomorrow. And they're saying that along photographs here, we could be talking about strong tornadoes tomorrow in this region here. There is also a 30% hatch risk for large hail tomorrow, once again, across southeastern South Dakota, northeastern Nebraska into northwestern Iowa, and then a very large 15% risk around it again. Damaging winds, hail, all going to be an issue tomorrow. But, I do want to focus on this tornado risk tomorrow because that is a pretty elevated tornado risk tomorrow. But as we move into Monday, there is a very large risk of severe weather. Let's see here. Just in the slight risk, there is 36 million people here. And in the marginal risk here, 16 million people, and then 6.5 million in the enhanced risk here. Notice that, well, that's not loading. Yes, it is. Okay. So there is a SIG-2, a day 3 SIG-2 hatch region here. This is crazy. Sorry, a day 3 SIG-2 hatch region here across extreme northern Oklahoma into basically all of central Kansas here. This is probably one of the first times I've seen a day 3 SIG-2 put out from the SPC. And this is something they knew they added this year. As we move into Tuesday, this risk is going to continue from basically Michigan down through Oklahoma here. So After that, it does look like there will be a few other severe weather events across across the board this week, but nothing major here. Um, but I do think if we go back to the Storm Prediction Center, that we could have basically a 4-day long major severe weather outbreak across the entire central United States, starting with today. Obviously, tomorrow, going back to this here, there is that 15% tornado risk here. And then I do think Monday is going to be a big day. Monday is going to be a really big day here across the entire board over here. So let's see here. And it might be a few minutes here. So I'm just going to sit here and wait for this new model run to come in here. See what we have on the GFS. Because it is showing that we could have severe weather basically all the way through Wednesday. So okay, let's see what we got going on here. Okay, so this is the latest GFS model run. And this is what we're showing here on the 18Z GFS here. So this is basically overnight tonight. Notice we have a 994 millibar low pressure here across southwestern Kansas here into the panhandle of Oklahoma. Moving into tomorrow, this will bring that severe weather tomorrow. Moving forward here, notice that low pressure strengthens here. 987 millibar low pressure system tomorrow. That's a very strong low pressure system, especially across, traditional tornado alley for this time of the year. I think tomorrow could be a tornado outbreak. I'm just going to be honest with you. And notice how tight these isobars are, and this is associated with how strong this low pressure system is. So regardless of the storms, there's going to be strong southwesterly winds out ahead of this storm system here from Texas, Oklahoma, into Kansas, into Iowa here, and even Illinois, Missouri could get in on some of the action tomorrow. But as we move forward here into Monday, notice that risk does continue Monday, and the Storm Prediction Center does highlight that across a very large region here. They have basically the entire central United States highlighted for severe weather on day 3. Notice we kind of have another low pressure system develop here on Monday, kind of across the same region where the first system tracked here. If we go over to the dew points for the same time, let's see here on Monday. So we can see that there's, okay. So there's more than enough moisture across this region here. 70-degree dew points, mid 70s in southern Iowa. I just want to see this sounding here. Maybe. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe Pivotal Weather is not going to want to cooperate with us. Well, while that is loading, let's see here. Let's go back over to Radar Omega, if this lets me. Okay. So we are going to let Pivotal Weather do its thing here. Anyways, kind of take a look at what we have going on right now. So these storms are kind of continuing to slide off to the southeast here. Not a whole lot going on with them. Maybe some damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour. Quarter-sized hail is possible if you're in Olney, Fairfield, into Princeton. or Grayville. Just stay weather aware over the next few hours. There is a marginal risk of severe weather across this region here for today. Um, that's about it. Let's see here. Let me check and see if the models are updating correctly. Okay, we are going to switch this back over to the models here, possibly. Do we have it? No, we do not. Okay. Okay, so Pivotal Weather is obviously not wanting to cooperate right now, so we will probably just end up doing a video later this evening, kind of just discussing what we have over the next week or so. But it does look like we will be entering a multi-day severe weather outbreak as severe weather, starting with today, moving into tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday being the latter half of it. There is some low-end severe weather potential across the central United States towards the second half of this week, but obviously we want to focus on what we have now. It does look like tomorrow has the possibility to be a tornado outbreak. So if you live in those regions tomorrow, if you're in the enhanced risk, have multiple ways to get watches and warnings. If you're in the slight risk, have multiple ways to get watches and warnings because the entire area, basically, the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted in a hatched region, meaning that they do think strong tornadoes will be possible tomorrow, and they did upgrade to a 15% hatch region tomorrow for tornadoes. So have multiple ways to get watches and warnings tomorrow. Stay tuned to your local news stations. local social media, trusted sources, and just have multiple different ways to get watches and warnings, whether it's here on YouTube or if you have a weather radio. But that is all I have right now. I'm going to wait for these models to come in, and then I will likely have a video out at some point this evening. Right now, there's not too much going on here. We did have a tornado warning here south of Louisville near Flora not too long ago in the Clay City region. But right now, these storms just kind of continue to push off to the east over here. I do think flash flooding is a concern across this region, and they did highlight this region for the possibility of flash flooding for up to 2 inches of rain over the next few hours over here in this region here. But these storms will continue to move on through. There is a marginal risk of severe weather over here, so there is a low end severe weather potential. However, the likely hazards will be damaging winds and some large hail. This storm here that is currently warned for Olney is warned for 60-mile-an-hour winds and ping pong ball size hail. It expires in 42 minutes. If you're in Lawrenceville, start preparing for this storm now. It could weaken, it could strengthen. Once again, we do have a marginal risk across this entire area over here. So just have ways to get watches and warnings, as the storm did have the history of rotation over here towards Florida. That's all I got right now. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Thank you guys for watching, and I will have a video out here soon.